from ABC News. I'm Daria Albinger. Millions of Americans are at risk for dangerous winter weather from what's being described as a once-in-a-generation storm. ABC's Alex Stone on how it's affecting holiday travel.
The number of canceled flights in the U.S. going up by the minute. Denver and Chicago O'Hare leading the way. Both are major hubs for United. Denver barely getting above 1 degree and spending much of the day in negative numbers, impacting operations. And snow in Chicago. Southwest is the airline with the most canceled flights. 20% of all of its flights canceled today. That's over 800 Southwest flights.
FlightAware says more than 2,300 flights have been canceled nationwide so far. The January 6th committee is releasing more transcripts. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried released on a $250 million personal recognizance bond signed by his parents as he awaits trial.
Prosecutors said one of their priorities now, in addition to holding Bankman-Fried accountable, is trying to figure out where the money went. They are going to get some help. Two close associates of Bankman-Fried, the co-founder of FTX, Gary Wang, and his ex-girlfriend, Caroline Ellison, who runs his privately held hedge fund, have pleaded guilty to criminal charges, and they've agreed to cooperate with prosecutors now.
ABC's Aaron Katursky outside Manhattan Federal Court. The House is expected to vote tomorrow on a $1.7 trillion government spending bill. To avoid a government shutdown, it also provides more funding for Ukraine.
It's $45 billion in additional funding that the United States will be able to provide Ukraine in terms of government assistance, military assistance, money that will make up for all the existing weapons that the United States has given to Ukraine from its existing arsenal.
That's ABC's Louis Martinez at the Pentagon. What goes up eventually comes down. Stocks certainly did today, despite a better-than-expected GDP report. You're listening to ABC News.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk, and actual results may vary. Oil keeps going up as the Russia conflict escalates. Get in on the next major oil boom now and help the U.S. with your patriotic investment that can potentially pay you monthly income for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you're an SEC-accredited investor and have at least $25,000 liquid now, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects and a huge tax savings for this year. If you invest in oil, you're allowed to write off nearly 100% of your investment in the first year. Goldman Sachs is projecting oil to go up to $100 a barrel. Call 800-278-7455. Encore Energy is a very active oil and gas operator in its core area of operations. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment and create 20 or more years of potential monthly income. Get this big tax deduction for 2022. Hurry before it's too late. Call 800-278-7455. That's 800-278-7455.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken at the end of the year running through many of his department's accomplishments.
We ended America's longest war. For the first time in 20 years, Americans will not be coming home from Afghanistan in a body bag or grievously injured.
At the White House today, President Biden offering a bit of holiday cheer.
Standing in a holiday festive White House East Room at a podium placed between two Christmas trees decorated with white lights and faux snow, President Biden said that sometimes the smallest act of kindness can mean so much. A smile, a hug, an unexpected phone call, or a cup of coffee.
So this Christmas, let's spread a little kindness. This Christmas, let's be that helping hand, that strong shoulder, that friendly voice, when no one else seems to care for those who are struggling, in trouble, and need.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Emmett Till and his mother, Mamie Till Mobley, will be posthumously awarded the Congressional Gold Medal after a unanimous vote from the House and once President Biden signs the bill. The esteemed award will honor Till Mobley for her bravery and for pioneering civil rights work after the brutal kidnapping and murder of her 14-year-old son by white supremacists in 1955. A smoky fire tonight on one of the iconic Staten Island ferries has been extinguished. There were no injuries, but people were evacuated by tugboat. This is ABC News.
Hi, it's Drew Barrymore here with a few of my favorite things that are absolutely free. Taking a walk in the rain, petting a dog, and streaming movies and TV shows on Pluto TV. Did I just say Pluto TV is free? Yes, I did. You can even watch Pluto TV for free while you pet a dog. Pluto TV has thousands of movies and TV shows, all for free. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
News Talk KVNU.
The information from the Pretty Balanced Perspective.
Online at kvnutalk.com and on the KVNU mobile app.
KVNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update. Freezing temperatures are expected to continue to grip the state, especially impacting people without a warm and safe place to call home. One organization in Logan decided to help people in need and keep them away from the cold. Nicole Burnard, a social worker who volunteered to help people who are unsheltered get the resources they need, said she could not sleep at night knowing there were people out there and that there was not a place for them to go. Bernard founded the William A. Burnard Warming Center, named after her grandfather, in downtown Logan, opening for the first time this winter. Every night, a multi-purpose hall at St. John's Episcopal Church transforms into that safe and warm place. It's open from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., The facility is staffed with volunteers through the night to help. Snacks and water are available as well. But they have put out an urgent call for more volunteers, as the demand has been great since they have opened. More volunteers are needed. You can go to the WABwarmingcenter.org website to find out more information. KVNU News Time is 5:06. KVNU weather for tonight. Mostly cloudy skies is our forecast for tonight and overnight. Low 0 to 5 above. Slight chance of snow Friday morning. 40% chance of snow in the afternoon on Friday. High temperature in the upper 20s. Slight chance of snow Friday evening. Chance of snow after midnight. Slight chance of snow showers Saturday, but mid-30s for the high. It's been to 14. Right now it's 11 at KVNU. KVNU weather is brought to you by the Duct Hunter. Clothes dryer vents can get clogged with lint. Birds can even build nests in them. Let the Duct Hunter clean them out for you. Call 435-770-4813. And the nephew of fundamentalist LDS Church leader Warren Jeffs has been charged with kidnapping following a revelation from the imprisoned polygamous leader. The Piute County attorney filed first-degree felony kidnapping charges on Monday against Heber Pearson Jeffs. He is accused of disappearing with a 10-year-old girl from a home in Kingston, Utah. According to the charging documents, Jeffs was caring for his sister's daughter while she and her husband were splitting and leaving the FLDS church. The girl's mother was able to visit her regularly, prosecutors wrote, until Warren Jeffs gave a revelation earlier this year. In August, Jeffs began reasserting control over the FLDS church from his prison cell in Texas, where he is serving a life sentence for child sexual assault related to underage marriages. Through Warren Jeffs' revelation, he commanded or ordered that the FLDS female members should quit their current employment or activities and gather, or essentially shelter in place, and prepare to move to a location or locations as directed by Warren Jeffs and or Hilleman Jeffs. When the girl's mother went to take her child, the affidavit said Jeffs told her he was cutting her off and that she would not be allowed access to her child unless she was going to get back into the church by writing Hilleman or Warren Jeffs. Hilleman Jeffs is a son of Warren Jeffs, who has asserted himself as a leader within the FLDS church. Well, in the basketball game with about 8 minutes to go, 8:07 left in the second half, Utah State with a sizable 63-43 lead over Seattle University. As soon as the game is over, we will rejoin with Al Lewis with post-game game day right here on KVNU. KVNU News Time is 5:09. For the latest news, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers. and we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, we meet the challenge. In cybersecurity, protecting and defending in cyberspace. When natural disasters happen, we are there in space. As a strong part of the nation's defense, we are there in the community, and we are there for our nation. We share a vision to make a difference, united and focused, taking pride in being there in service of our country. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Just a reminder for listeners, we are going to wrap things up early here today. As the Aggie game ends, we'll take a little break to allow transition time, and then Al Lewis will take over for the post-game show, which about 8 minutes left in the game. Aggie's still up here. So also a reminder that tomorrow's show is up in the air. Depending on how this game turns out, if it stays the way it looks right now and Aggies win, we will be here 4 to 5 p.m. for a For the People movie show, just 1 hour earlier than normal. And that will be all of our show tomorrow, as Al Lewis will take over for postgame at 5. If the Aggies lose, the schedule is different, and there will be no show tomorrow, and Al Lewis will start pregame at about 4:30. So I know that's confusing, but we're waiting to see how this game turns out. And we're kicking off hour 2 of today's show with a special guest joining us here. We have gotten word that a previous guest on the show who is involved with, I think, one of the, especially right now, most important efforts that is taking place this holiday season. Earlier this month, the grand opening of the William A. Burnard Warming Center happened in November. We had a chance to speak with granddaughter of the namesake of this warming center, Nicole Burnard, and she talked to us about the idea for the warming center, which is simple: a place for families without a home to go, helping local families, individuals, and others, especially on the coldest nights. One of the challenges to this warming center is that it does require a volunteer assistance, and the volunteer need is very unique. Basically, they're looking for volunteers who can help operate the warming center in a safe way for the families, the children, the individuals, anyone who is in need of a place to sleep that isn't freezing. They need volunteers who can be there from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So the volunteer request is very unique compared to normal volunteer opportunities we talk about here on the show. And we got word today that without additional help, they may not be able to keep the warming center up and running to meet the need, which has been higher than expected. Joining us right now, Nicole Burnard of the Cache Valley William A. Burnard Warming Center. Nicole, thank you for taking some time for us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Nicole, this was, great news that the warming center is open and operational and already helping people in need of a warm place to sleep. Bad news that without some additional volunteer assistance, you might not be able to keep doing that, right?
Yeah, so we've been open since December 9th. I do have to say we have literally been open every night since December 9th. And so we have had some dedicated, wonderful volunteers who have helped us, stay open, especially through this last weekend where it was just freezing temperatures. Unfortunately, you heard of I don't know if you've heard, but the deaths that occurred in Salt Lake area of, unhoused individuals. There were about 5 people.
And one of the most tragic, just this week, the story of a woman who was released from the hospital in the wee hours of the morning, and they believe she slipped and froze to death. That story's garnered everybody's attention, but surrounding that story, as you mentioned, Nicole, all of these stories of individuals who were homeless, and something like 160 plus individuals just this year in 2022 froze to death. I mean, that's
in the state of Utah.
That's in the state of Utah. That's a slap in the face.
Wow. Yeah, it's heavy, but that shows how important this work is, right? And how life-saving this can be, and how important it is, for us as community members to step up to help other community members, right?
Sure.
Again, we've had some great volunteers who have just been, they've just been giving us everything they've got to help us, stay open these past 2 weeks.
So cool.
And I know it's really hard. It's the holiday season. People are traveling. People are spending time with their families. And so we knew that this was going to be pretty challenging going into it. But we still wanted to do everything we could to stay open during December, especially over the holidays, because a lot of places are closed over the holidays, right? So it was really important for us to try to do that. So yes, we are in need of additional volunteers, just even to get us through the holidays and just moving forward into January. It just helps us know that we have, days staffed, because like you said, part of the requirement for us to make sure everything is safe and good for folks is that we have 2 volunteers on site during operating hours, providing that friendly supervision. And if we don't have that, then we won't be able to, operate and open our doors, because we do prioritize safety, and having 2 people there, allows for that and ensures that volunteers and guests are safe, and things are being monitored. And again, that if you think about it, that's it's 12 hours every night,
Sure.
So it is a pretty big commitment. We have things broken down into shifts. The most difficult shift to cover is, of course, that overnight shift, right? From midnight to 5:45 a.m.
Sure.
So what we are doing too is allowing folks to split that up if needed.
I see that.
That's been helpful.
I see that here at the website. And for listeners, if you want to know more about the requirements, obviously 18 and older, there is security is a concern, privacy is a concern. So there are some training and background check requirements, all of that. But it is easy to do. And at WAB, the William A. Burnard, WABwarmingcenter.org, you can see this. But Nicole, I see that you've got a need for a volunteer that can be there every day, 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. for checking guests out, and also a volunteer that can help clean the rooms after guests leave, 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. every day. There's also a flex and on-call shift volunteer opportunity, room monitor opportunities, one from 6 p.m. to 12:30 a.m., one from 12 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. There is a need for check-in support, which is 6:30 to 10:30 every single evening. So a lot of different volunteer opportunities, some off-site volunteer opportunities as well. You can reach out to Nicole and everyone there at the Warming Center if you have time to help with their donation inventory donation collection. In the future, they'll have need for upcoming tabled events to fundraise and raise awareness. They also have need for general supplies, hygiene kits, sleeping mats, and more. So a lot of need. And Nicole, I know one of the things that you told us when we spoke in November is that one of the priorities of this Warming Center, in addition to the critical resources it's offering, which is simply a warm place to sleep, which might be something a family needs for a night, something they need for a week or two. In addition to that, privacy is a top concern, and keeping these families safe, obviously a top concern. Can you talk a little bit, though, about who it is we're talking about here? Who's being helped by this in just the few weeks that the Warming Center's been open?
Yeah, thank you. And I do just want to talk about, the shifts on the website. Again, we are open from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. As part of this, since this has never been done before, this last 2 weeks, it's kind of been a trial and error, and we're having to adjust
Oh, sure.
Things need to be pretty flexible. So some of those times might change, especially, for the importance of us trying to get people there to supervise. We want to try to work with people as much as possible to get that coverage. So
absolutely.
Yes, those shifts, just take everything with a grain of salt and just try to be patient and flexible with us as we are kind of experimenting and figuring out what works. Over the past 2 weeks, we've helped around almost 20 people in the past 2 weeks. We've helped, I know, 2 families specifically. Each of those families had small children. Over the last weekend when it was really cold, the most we had at one time was about 10 people on one night.
Oh, wow.
In the center. And so, it's just been a godsend that we've had the opportunity to get this up and running so quickly.
Honestly, because that is 10 people that would have maybe been out sleeping in a car instead, right?
Yeah, and there was even a couple of the people there that didn't have cars.
Oh, wow.
They didn't even come. They had they had the clothes on their bodies. They didn't have bags. So it's just, yeah. Oh. And one thing, though, that was so rewarding to see was, yes, we serve individuals and families and pets even. We even had a dog. We had a dog that we were able to provide shelter for.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it was just, I remember sitting there one night just looking into the communal resting area. We have tables and, cots are set up there, but we also have board games and table with snacks and coffee. And it was just so awesome to look in that room and see just all of the guests interacting with each other. The individual guests playing games with the kids and the parents there, getting cocoa. And it was just fantastic to see and so validating. And
that is amazing.
And, you can be a part of that. Community members, you can be a part of that. And, again, we really need that on-site supervision. We do provide a training. Right now it's just a 2.5-hour online training. We put together some important, just trauma-informed things, de-escalation techniques, just some important things to know before you come in. And then, of course, when you come in, you'll always be with an experienced volunteer or a training lead to kind of go through the operation policies and procedures. So you will have support.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's just an amazing opportunity and such a critical service, especially this time of year. Last night it was 5 degrees in Cache Valley. Most of our winter nights are not safe for an individual to be outside or even sleeping in a car. And the warming center, I have to point this out, this is the only resource like this in Cache Valley. So it's critical. And again, they are desperate for some more support. As Nicole said, a lot of support from the community already, not only in running the warming center the last few weeks since the grand opening, but also getting things up and running. So a lot of community support already behind this. But another ask here, please, if you have any time, and as Nicole said, things are flexible. They're still kind of feeling this out, seeing what the need and the demand require. And so regardless of what you see on the website, if you have any time to offer, reach out to them and make the offer. Maybe they'll have use, even if it's just for an afternoon, of some of the time and skills you have. You can call them at 757-3336 or email info@wabwarmingcenter.org. That is, again, William A. Burnard. That stands for info@wabwarmingcenter.org. Or simply visit wabwarmingcenter.org or follow the link I've posted on our own Facebook page. Nicole, again, appreciate taking some time for us today, especially on short notice. I caught wind of this just before we started today at 4, and we were able to arrange things to have you visit with us. And everyone out there, again, if you can volunteer to help with off-site needs with the Warming Center, if you can help with setup, room cleaning, room monitoring, check-in, check-out, if you've got a very flexible schedule, even if it's just for the next week or through the holidays alone, they are looking for on-call volunteers as well, which might be a really varied schedule. Only requirement, of course, you must be 18 plus, and more details on how to be a part of this, the form to fill out, and more available at wabwarmingcenter.org. Nicole Burnard, our guest here. And Nicole, again, a pleasure to have you join us here on the show. And best of luck. I hope the volunteers come out I hope you're turning them down by the end of the day here, because what all of you are doing there with the Warming Center, is such a critical thing. And I think most of us, as we discussed when we spoke last month, most of us don't realize this is a very real Cache Valley problem, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think people have an idea of what that looks like, and it doesn't look like the stigmatized, what you think of when you think of homelessness. But
sure.
I did want to mention, if I could, before we go, we have been receiving some fantastic support, via donations, and that's been both financial and in-kind donations, which are actually like items, right, supplies.
Oh, great.
But I wanted to kind of give a heads up. Currently, we do not have a lot of storage space, and we are not taking any like coats, blankets, like cloth, those types of items. We just don't have a place to store them because the outpouring has just been so wonderful. So we are just asking folks to maybe take those to the DI or the Cache Valley Humanitarian Center, and then we can pick those up as needed from those places. But it's kind of, people are bringing them to the church and kind of just dropping them off, and we don't really have a system to manage that. And so it would just be fantastic for us if, just those blankets and the clothes, if they could be taken to the DI or another, community partner, that would really help us because, again, we don't have the storage for those types of things right now. And, if it's a snack item or hygiene items, please reach out to us on our website so that we can coordinate those drop and pickup times, just so that we aren't, interrupting the church's like daily operations. Because again, as a reminder, Warming Center staff and volunteers are only at St. John's from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
That's right.
So that's something I wanted to kind of share. I'm sorry to take up extra time.
No, that's important to point that out. And again, this is an effort just off the ground, so they're still feeling things out. My advice, honestly, if you go to the website, you can find different ways to get involved and even donate. And so if you want to help, those are probably the two things, right, Nicole, that would help you the most. Cash donations via Venmo or through the website, PayPal, what have you, or donating your time, or both if you can. Such a critical need. And as the point-in-time survey earlier this year showed, at any given point, any given day or week here in Cache Valley, more than 100 families and individuals, including very young children, could be homeless for a night, for a few nights, for a week. And the Warming Center offers them a warm place to go, a bed, games, as Nicole said, for the kids and for the adults, a de-stress opportunity, so many critical aspects of this. And again, they need your help to keep things up and running. If you can volunteer anytime at all, reach out to them. Fill out the form or give them a call via the number and email address listed at the William A. Burnard Warming Center website, wabwarmingcenter.org, and I've linked to that on our Facebook page. And Nicole, thank you again for your time today. Best of luck.
Thank you so much. Have a happy holiday.
You as well. And for our listeners, one more time, the website linked on our Facebook page, but it is wabwarmingcenter.org. You honestly, just a great thing you could do with your time or your money if you're looking to help others through the holidays here. We'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids, and I've got a good job.
Bye, Mom. See you, Mom.
A pretty important job. Because of my family and my job, I really care about this neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Yes, there's some crime. And when I drive to work, like now, I realize that some people here don't trust the police. So the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you, as a police officer, that this department is reaching out to the community, and the community is doing its part. We're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere. This is how we can all be safer. Get involved. Start the conversation.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/prevent violent crime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor.
nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
This Tuesday, April Davis will change the world. She doesn't know that yet. All she knows is that she went to justserve.org and volunteered an hour of her time. Browsing through dozens of service opportunities in her community, April decided to spend her Tuesday evening serving dinner to mothers and their children at a transitional house. She doesn't know she'll be serving a particular mother and daughter who will be spending their first night in this home. April doesn't know that the hot meal she'll serve is the first this mother and daughter will have had in a week, or that the simple smile she'll offer as she serves them will help them realize that things are going to be all right. Which is why this Tuesday, April Davis will change the world. See the difference you can make. Sign up for service opportunities in your community. Visit justserve.org. JustServe.org is provided as a service by The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Dr. Anita Chandra with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Helmets are important for every bike ride, no matter how short. Did you know helmets are also important to wear when skateboarding, inline skating, or riding a scooter? A helmet can protect against a skull fracture or other facial injuries. Look for a helmet that fits correctly and that's certified for safety. Make sure you and your child wear a helmet every time. For more, visit healthychildren.org or talk with your pediatrician.
Weird to be saying this at middle of the hour, so the end of the hour, but that is our show for today. 46 seconds in the Aggie game. Aggies at 84, Seattle 53. That means that, it's like an injury. Did you happen to see what was going on there? Well, Al will be talking about it. It looks like
I did not.
Gameplay paused there, and an Aggie down, number 15 on the floor, looking like he's got a headache with 46 seconds to go. But a couple of things this means. One, it means that in just a couple of minutes here, we will transition to Aggie Game Day with Al Lewis, the post-game show. Also, a USU win sets the schedule for tomorrow, which means there will be a For the People movie show, but it's going to happen an hour earlier than usual. Instead of 5 p.m. for the For the People movie show, second hour of our show, we'll only have 1 hour tomorrow, 4 to 5 p.m., and then move into Al's second post-game show of the week. So that will be tomorrow at 5 o'clock, but we will be here for the For the People movie show, 4 to 5 p.m. Andy Morgan joining us.
Actually, I think, let's see, we'll play SME. Al will be on from 4 to 5, and then you'll be on.
That is the opposite of what I was told. Oh, well. It's always a guessing game here.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Sometime tomorrow, then. I better let Andy know not to come in an hour early, then. That is tomorrow's lineup. There will be a movie show, maybe at 4, maybe at 5. Al Lewis and Aggie Game Day next here on KVNU Logan.
In honor of all those we've lost to cancer and those still fighting and thriving, like basketball analyst and cancer champion Dick Vitale.
I want to beat cancer. I'm going to beat it. That's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to win this battle.
Defeating cancer will take all of us. Join our team to help fund game-changing research that saves lives. At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over the odds. V is for victory over health disparities, victory over setbacks, victory over the unknown. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join the V Foundation team and help save lives.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.